Okay, hello everyone, how you doing? Hope everyone is doing well. Go ahead and bring the scene live here. Hello, how things going? Hope you're doing well, everyone. Today I'm here with a couple new decks. I've actually made up to 6 different decks for the stream, but only planning on doing 3 of them right now. We'll do the next 3 during the next stream probably. So I have a control deck, an aggro deck, and a combo control deck, and we'll see how well they can work out. And to start the stream off, I think we'll just lead in with our Sultai control deck. Hope everyone's doing well. I know it hasn't been too long since possibly last seen people because we were on last night. Hope everyone is, still enjoying themselves. So, today I have brought Sultai Control. With this deck idea, we are a bit of a Shigeki Colossal Turtle combo deck. If you're not familiar with this, we can discard the Visionary here for the channel of double X, double green to return up to X target non-legendary cards from our graveyard back to our hand. This means that we can just perpetually get back a lot of cards, and the reason why I say perpetually is because we can use the Sky Turtle here for the green discard of 1 green, 2 of any color, return target card from our graveyard to our hand, so we can use this to get the Shigeki, and we're going to loop this together. Now, the way that this is actually really strong is that we can use Sky Turtle, get Shigeki. Shigeki allows us to get back our board wipes, either Drag to the Bottom or Meat Hook Massacre, but also lets us get off all of our spot removal, like March Wretch Sorrows, Tear Asunder, and we have answers basically to all permanent types with this deck due to this. We have a little control in the deck for direct removal in the March's Wretch Sorrow and Cut Down. We have the Massacre for our sweeper, as well as Drag to the Bottom. We have some draw in the form of Joint Exploration, which will also potentially help us accelerate mana. This is a brand new card if you're not familiar with, so 2 mana to scry to draw a card. And if you kick it for 1 green, we may then put a land onto the battlefield, kind of like a Growth Spiral, just with an extra mana so we get the scry 2 then. We have some Make Disappears for counterspell action. We have Planeswalker Payoffs in Wrenn and 7 to generate the huge Tree Folk. Also to help make sure we find our lands, because our mana is going to be very expensive to do our combos. But also Kaito Shizuki to give us the Ninja for unblockable damage, but also just mainly because it's a great draw engine. Because even if we, don't have a creature to attack in, we can just still go with the draw card, discard off the +1s and still get a lot of value because we can bring it back with Shigeki. A card that also doubles for the purpose of Sky Turtle is we are using Urborg Repossession. So this is another new card. For 1 black, we get to return target creature from our graveyard to our hand and gain 2 life. If we kick it for the extra green and a colorless, we can then return any permanent card from our graveyard back to our hand. Now this is particularly useful because not only does that mean that we can actually get back our Shigeki because of the return of creature, but we're able to actually recover legendary cards from our graveyard, so we're able to get back like Katose, Old Retstein, Urtai, Wrenn and 7, and just be able to keep applying those other forms of pressure against the opponent. Because Shigeki is able to return non-legendary cards from our graveyard back to our hand. So Shigeki's primary goal is just to get us back, Drag to the Bottom and things like that. I know we're running a lot of legendaries in this deck, considering we're running Shigeki, but I think we should still be fine just because of how we have the Urborg Repossession here. We primarily use the Shigeki to get back the Drag to the Bottom, March Wretch Sorrows, and some of the draw counterspell action, as well as Tear Asunder. So we'll hop into games and see how well this will actually work out for us. I haven't actually tested this deck yet. And I'll be honest, I am a little worried about how many legendaries I'm running. Since I'm not sure if they're gonna potentially compete in how they're going to work. Just realized, there we go. Just getting a little reposition on the camera there. There we go. I hope everyone's enjoying the location there. Alright. On the start, we have a pretty decent hand here. Thanks to the Triome, drag to the bottom is immediately going to be basically a Languish. So it would be -4/-4. To be honest, I would like to have more drag to the bottoms in the deck instead of Meat Hook Massacres, just because it's easier to get back with Shigeki. But I just only have 2 copies at the moment. I can only craft so many rares. Alright, opponent just land passes to us. We'll go for the Marsh. This way we have access to our blue mana. Alright, opponent's a recursion deck. Very obvious because of the Cathartic Pirate discard of double creature there. So we're going to want to make sure we have make disappear mana up. So we're going to land pass. Potentially bring down Shigeki next turn. Rutstein can stay on the board, because we can just cut it down before the trigger even resolves, so they don't get the I was gonna say the potential to use Rutstein if they hit like a treasure off of it and maybe have some kind of protection or whatnot. Alright, Shigeki to board. Pass it back. Opponent's going to try to use their recursion. We will make it disappear. Alright, we'll land and pass. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. So yeah, we can actually return. So, activate Sky Turtle, discard. Add make disappear back to hand. And counter Olivia. Opponent gives us an oops. I'm not entirely sure why, but... Alright, so we have Tear Asunder in hand. And we don't really have any other play, so we'll just pass. Shigeki's ability to put the land in play puts it into play tapped, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So, if they go for recursion, we just need to hold up the Shigeki. We'll block. Alright. We'll just activate Shigeki here now. With the land. Opponent's turn. Oh, looks like they do have a recursion spell. Well, that's annoying. But not the end of the world, because we can hit the drag. Let's see, how much mana does this cost in the graveyard? It costs 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright. So even if we drag that, they can bring it back. But we will still go for the drag. And bring Shigeki to the board. One, two, three, four, 5. We can only do this for 5. Alright, so they're going to bring back Olivia so that way they can get the haste attack and immediately bring something back out. Figured it would be something like Titan. It's going to hurt. No denying that. Okay, so activate Shigeki. Get the land. And we hit them with the drag again. Titan has to go the XL because there's no legendary vampire on the board. So opponents hit a lot of their recursion, but we've at least been able to just keep them off the board here. Let's see. At this point, we'll hold Shigeki for discard. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. We can bring back 3 cards. I don't feel like I need to use the Meathook Massacre against the Harvester. I'm gonna hold up for the Tear Sunder as a possibility as well. Alright, hidden for 3. They go for Titan. We'll let the Titan resolve all of its abilities first. Alright, we'll discard 1, 2, 3. We will add Sky Turtle, March, and Counterspell's kind of useless at this point because it's a taxing one and they have more than enough mana. I think we'll just get Drag. Let's go ahead, tear the Titan asunder, land the board, and drag the rest. This allows us to hold up March, just in case our opponent does manage to find another recursion spell for Olivia. Unfortunately, it will... Okay, I'm fine with Caretaker. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's play the Kaido. Go for the minus. Because I can't hold enough mana for... Oh, actually, I did have enough mana. I thought I was 1 short for killing the Olivia if it came back. Oh well, we'll just give up the Sky Turtle. We'll lose our combo for the Graveyard then, to put Olivia back in their hand if they go for the Revive. Are you gonna stick with Avabruck? We'll start off by attacking. Go for a plus. Here's the awkward situation. How many Shigekis are in the graveyard? All 3 of them are in the graveyard, so we have to go for Shigeki. If I don't play anything, they get that power, but we have to just pass. I can always just March of Red Sorrows our own creature here. Okay. Two, three. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think, how much do we need to discard for Shigeki? The math is on this is a little hard, so 1, 2. So we can discard 2. That means we can still march this for the 1, stay alive. Discard for 2. Need the Sky Turtle and take drag. Well, this gets more complicated. I was really hoping to draw something else there. Go for the draw discard. Discard the land. Or I mean the Terrace Under. Gonna have to give up on getting Shigeki back. Go for the double drag. If they hit another recursion spell on the Caretaker, we're gonna be in a lot of trouble. My opponent just passes it back to us. Okay, this is what we were hoping for. Because now we can bring back the Shigeki. And we can also bring back Urtai here. Go for the -1. Now we have the ability to get back any card from our graveyard. We can counterspell them. That's fine, you can cut that down. Now the counterspell does give them a card draw. How much can I discard Shigeki to get back? One, 2, 3, 4. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so we can get 4 cards back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Grab this. Grab Sky Turtle. We'll grab March. And we'll grab Drag. We'll kick this. Grab these 2. We play Katose. We will get rid of the Caretaker. Let's see, so we're looking at 1 more Titan in the deck, 1 Zatora. A lot more recursion spells. 1 Shieldred. Okay, I think we can handle that. The only thing I'm worried about is the Riveteer's Charm because it exiles our graveyard. See, if we bring this to the board... What can they bring back? Cockrell can come back. So, hold off on bringing that to the board for right now. Go for the plus. Discard the land. And pass to the opponent. We'll let that hit the board, so that way we can just use Tear Sunder. Reflection is a Kiki-G, he can't copy it. Because it's a legendary, so. Alright, see here, we can go for the Caretaker. Go for an attack. And go for the plus. I think we're just better off just passing it back. We already have so much value on the board. At this point, if they do actually hit the charm to get rid of our graveyard, that's perfectly fine. My opponent's just going to pass it to us. Wretch Sorrow. I'm just going to click 5 just because it's an arbitrary number. And move to combat and finish it. There we go. I was a little worried because of just how many times they did their recursion thing, if we'd get through it, but we actually did. We did get really low, there's no denying that, but we managed to actually do it. We just got lucky that the opponent never hit their Riveteer's Charm, because if they did hit the Riveteer's Charm, they could have just exiled our graveyard at any point in time, and just kind of shut off our deck. Okay, I like how a lot of what's going on in this hand. We'll keep this one. So we lead with the Cascade, because then we go for Odawara. Go for Shigeki then. If Shigeki doesn't get removed from the board, we just go for the Activate. If it does, we have Old Rutstein. Actually, might need to take a look at and see what we can do with Mono Red at some point. Because it does look like it's got a lot of strong aggro cards right now. Alright, so they don't mess around, they get rid of the Shigeki right away. But we'll go ahead and bring out Rutstein. And it'll be the opponent's turn. We actually managed to get ourselves Sky Turtle off the top, which means we can always bring back Shigeki now. Alright, they don't like Rutstein. Let's see, we'll go for the tower to the board, and we'll just X2 March the Lily. Alright, Foul Stinger. 3-2 Death Touch that they're sacrificing immediately to just get draw 2 and lose 2 life. We'll go for the green source and pass it back. Harvester for our opponent. Let's see. don't mind the idea of actually discarding and getting Shigeki right now. Because as long as the opponent doesn't resolve anything important that we need to use Urtai against, we can use it to loop to get the March and the Sky Turtle back. The 1, 2... Yeah, we can only do it for 2 right now. Thinking about this. Because we can just get March, and that answers it, but I think I'll just go for the Urtai. Counter the spell. It does give the opponent another card. Alright, we got the Repossession. If we sacrifice the treasure, we can actually do this for 3 now. Why is 3 important? Because that means we can get Sky Turtle, March, and the land back. So if they, like, go Liliana, uptick, we can discard Shigeki in response, get those 3, and we can just discard the land. Alright, opponent comes in with the Blood Tithe. We take the 3. Okay. Opponent gets an Ob. Interesting. They go for double token. Well, we'll go ahead and grab our 3 cards. Still worthwhile just to sacrifice the treasure, just get the land. Okay, let's see here. We'll kick the Repossession, add both of these back to hand. Let's go ahead and sacrifice the Urtai to attack the Ob. I actually wanted to keep the Rutstein instead of the get back Urtai. Rutstein is useful for us because it'll help fill our graveyard more, so that way we have more options to get back with the Shigeki. Okay. Well, opponent's going to kill off Rutstein again. We'll just X1... Get rid of Token Ob. That way we don't have to deal with the... Oh, hey there, Izzy. How things going? Just noticed you. Sorry, I took a moment to notice. You had an idea for the channel points. Oh, okay. I'm listening. What's the idea there? All right, Obnixilis does a plus. We will decline. We'll take the 2. Alright, opponent plays a Braids. We'll go ahead and cut down the token, so that way they can't just sacrifice it to Braids. We'll keep our land. Let's see. We're looking at taking 1, 2, 3. So that's 5. Yeah, we'll pass. Yeah. Spend like 2 key channel points, and we get magic themed word, and you can't say that word for 5 minutes. If you do, then the timer resets. Okay, I mean, that's an interesting one. Gonna give me challenges where I can't speak a word. I think I can do that. Yeah, I can set that up. Now I have to figure out how to set up a timer for that, for people to be able to view it, but I mean that's a simple thing to do is to set up, but I need to actually get it set up. So I'll try to have that ready for the next stream then. Let me make a note about that. Opponent uses Bank Buster to draw. We're gonna lose another 2 life here. Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I have to. I'd like to be able to make it so that way the people can see it, so that way they know how much longer it's got on it. All right, we'll get back 3 cards. We will get back the March, Repossession, and we'll actually get the land. Let's see here. If we do the March and kill Braids, get ourselves back a bunch of life. But I can do that instant speed, so we might just want to wait for the opponent's actions. See, as an example, I pick land and as the word. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, and maybe I have to actually come up with actually a real punishment thing that I'll have to endure if I make a mistake. Alright, I'm gonna pass it back. I'm gonna hold up Make Disappear, March, and even the discard of Sky Turtle as actions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2. Yep, do an X5, get rid of Braids. Alright, opponent's gonna go for a crew there. That's fine. We get ourselves a whole bunch of life back. We'll actually discard a land. I mean, I don't have the cards for Defender Jink right now. Otherwise, I would say sure, let's do that. But I don't have the ability to make it at this moment. All right, opponent goes for the 4. We decide to take it. Wait, with Chaplain? Defender with Chaplain to make birds based on your defenders and Devil Challenge. Oh yeah. I don't have enough crafts to make the deck though. I know I need a fair bit of the uncommons to make that deck. And to do some of the decks I just did today, I unfortunately used up a lot of my crafts. We hit them with the counterspell. But it was going to take us really low if we had let that resolve. Let's bring out Katose. Take away their Invoke Despairs. Alright, so their hand's got a Liliana. It's got Sholdred, Junji. Only one more Invoke in their whole deck. let's go ahead and kick the repossession, get back Shigeki, and we'll get back Urtai. Yeah, no, I remember we talked about it last stream, and it seemed like a really cool deck. For the you play the wall, any wall, you get a whole bunch of bird tokens that hit the board, and then you get the valet triggers, the doubling up to eventually be a powerful win. I think it's not a bad idea. I do also need to double check which colors have defender cards to really make that work. Because it's also a case of you're going to need at least 2 colors for that deck idea. Because you need at least red and white, but I don't think there's enough good walls, so you're looking at going into at least the 3rd colors to give yourself enough defenders. Because I don't think red has any defenders. Right. I'm surprised I haven't seen a single one of our sweepers. See, we'll have 4 mana left over after casting this, so we'll be able to hold up Urtai. I mean, we can do that. We can do that. Get ourselves the big token. And pass it back to the opponent. I know opponent's going to uptick Lily here, and we're going to end up discarding Sky Turtle to it. They go for resolving Junji, we'll definitely counterspell it. I don't know how many more walls we'll get for the Explorer version that will be helpful. But we can take a look. One, two, three, four, five. They'll still have the 5 mana. Gonna have to be forced to discard. May as well play the Urtai here. Counter activated ability. So stop this. I stopped them from getting the token. See, how much damage are we representing on the board here? 9 plus 3. So we have 12. They're going to have to bring out either Shuldred or Junji here. Well, actually, the draw on this generates a 1-1. Well, yeah, but I was saying that I don't know how many of them are going to be worthwhile that we can find that are going to be very helpful. Alright, so we attack both of these at the opponent's face. The opponent unfortunately blocks Junji against the 5/5. The 5/5 dies. They make us lose 2 life. We discard 2 cards. Ob then does the plus and kills us. And even if they don't do that, say they block the Urtai because they want to keep the Junji to kill us that way. Then the opponent's able to just still plus with the Lily, plus here, play Sholdrith, and we'll die on our upkeep, or on our draw. Okay, so actually gonna sacrifice Fell Stinger and make us draw 2 cards. That's funny. Actually, one of the things I did think about was the fact that you can play Sholdred, use a Fell Stinger, make your opponent lose a bunch of life because of the draw triggers. Well, unfortunately, that grindy match resulted in our loss. We did not really get anything that we could loop to deal with the Planeswalkers. We only got this Terra Sunder in our graveyard after we mulled it with Ren and 7. So, a little bit of a shame there. But alright, we'll go ahead and take a look at just creating that wall deck. See if we can just put it in the... I say wall deck because it's, you know, Defender. And if we're going in Historic Defender, I don't think that combo is going to be that worthwhile. Because there's some other cards that you can already run that are able to make it so that we can attack with the... So yeah, you're wanting to use the Wing Mantle here. Oh, it actually happens to be a Cleric. That's interesting. See, so how does this card trigger? Once it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying for each creature with Defender you control. Whenever another creature with Defender enters the battlefield under your control, you get a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying. Alright. Thermo Alchemists actually are in the standard format, so we actually do have a red Defender that is worth mentioning. Ooh, we actually could use the Tuk Tuk Rubble Fort. How this works out is we can get Rubble Fort to the board, then we can just get an explosive thing of bird tokens, potentially. And they can just all attack in at once. But this is going back into the older cards. Let's see, so to go with the... the Walking Bulwark allows us to attack with walls and also gives them haste. Yeah, until in turn, target creature with Defender gains haste can attack as though it didn't have Defender and assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. We can also run like High Alert. Trying to think if there's any of these other cards that would be worthwhile. If we're in Historic, actually let's change that to Explore, not his. Oh wait, now Explore won't let us use the Wall of Blossoms or the Carotid. We won't have these. Dang. I was about to say, that would actually be really good. Let me turn craft mode on so that we can see what other walls I'm missing. This is an ETB, right? Yes, ETB. So, Birth of the Lettuce actually would be pretty good in the deck. Just gonna put one copy here for right now. Because it helps get you to lands. No, it gives you an alternate win condition is why I was going with that there, Izzy. It's not that I want to necessarily attack with the walls. It's just only playing to one win condition. Probably won't work out in our favor. I mean, we can always run the Coral here as well. It's a 1/4 defender. I'd like a flying defender if possible. Just to, help us block the opponents. Unfortunately, doesn't seem to be the case. There's like no wall of air or anything like that. I'm trying to wonder if we want to just like go ahead and just be like a 4-color deck, but I mean, I have craft mode on, and so any card that we... Oh, there's Flump. That's the only one, and I don't really like Flump. Whenever this takes damage, both our opponent and we get to draw a card. Yeah, I don't like giving my opponent card draw if possible, and I don't want to waste rares crafting this. Yeah, I'm actually surprised by the lack of flying defenders. Like, there's a bunch of really old ones that have been printed before, but there's currently none of them right now. I mean, there's Reach on Tuk Tuk, which seems decent. Same with the Trebuchet, but they're not particularly great walls. This is to be the only other rare that I was thinking about maybe crafting for the deck. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Actually, we don't want High Alert if we are going to do that combo. You're correct. Let's see. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness. Yeah, we don't want that one either. Yeah, I thought those were some of the cards that allow you to choose to assign with power or toughness, but that's not the case. There is a new wall. There it is. This one's a common. Actually, I don't mind just crafting these, but they would be kind of useful to the deck idea. Just because they tutor the wall. Not because I think the wall is strong. It just allows us to grab more copies. 2, 3, and 4. Alright. Let's go ahead and grab the Valet, which is the combo piece. I cannot spell correctly. It's an ETB, actually. We actually could use Roast Smasher with this deck idea also, but The I'm actually forgetting what the heck it's. Well, I know I passed it because I went to the 4s. I know it's a 3 cost. I'm just not seeing it. There it is, Devilish Valley. I was blanking on the name again, for the card. There we go. Oh. Ah. There we go. So we got the Devilish Valley in. We can actually cut the blue then, since we're not going to be using the 1 card. Currently, actually, this is standard with the exception of the Meletis here. This is such a bad wall. Is it for defenders in green? Oh man, I think we really do want to take this into historic then instead. Strangely enough, I want to take it to the older format, in which case we'll drop the some of these shield walls. Because Wall of Blossoms are amazing. And then we have Battlements here, which allows us to produce tons of mana. I'm trying to think, like, what we can do that actually allows us to draw. Yeah, that's the thing, is it's one of those, it sounds like an interesting idea, but it's really hard to execute. Some Harmonize. I don't think this deck's gonna work, in all honesty. Hoping to mind, I'm just gonna... I'm gonna scrap it real quick. The problem is that you're required to have too many cards that require Defender on them, and Defender cards don't really do too much. So if you're gonna go for the build, like in Standard, this is what we have to work with that has Defender. Now, these are what you build around. You need the Wall Sentinels just to help you tutor for it. Sorry, let me turn on craft mode. I think you need to have blue. For standard, at least. Maybe even go black as well. Oh, wait, that's not the wall I wanted. This is the wall I wanted. So let's see, we're looking at... Because I feel like we need draw power. Lore Master's not really going to help us out. I guess we could hide behind an academy wall, use some instance to maybe control the board. And we just have the smallest splash of red specifically just for the... So, red only for the valet. We have the Blight pile, so that we can make our opponent just lose life off of an activate. It's also a 3/3 for 2. We have the Coral Colony there. It's a 1/4, so it actually does potentially kill things for blocking with. Wingmantle, unfortunately, just only has 3 toughness, so it's hard to block with it. So we do rely a lot on the birds it creates. Yeah, I don't have enough uncommon crafts to make this. Probably too many of the shield walls. But we need to be able to get the chaplain. We can go with the Bankbuster, I suppose, as a draw engine. It's great because it's colorless. We actually technically can crew this with Blight Pile, so it's not like it's uncrewable. Celestis, Mana Fixes, gives us a little ramp which kind of might be needed. Potential life gain card draw off of it. And now we need actual removal options with our last 6 cards, just to control the board. Probably need to trim a little bit still. So yeah, Academy Wall's not going to be very useful. We don't have enough spells to warrant in the deck. So we'll just trim it. Because currently, we are at 22 creatures in the deck. 18 of them are walls. Okay, should we go for an Intrepid Adversary in the deck? It can just hang back and make it so all the walls are just larger. So that way they can actually defend and kill things. If we, give it the plus. The other reason why I was thinking is it wasn't bad for the deck is it gives us a higher base power. The warrior, so it doesn't pair well with the soldier buff. You were mostly white and black. Borrowed times probably wouldn't hurt. I'm not worried about cut down in the deck because we can block the small creatures, so it's a matter of dealing with large creatures. Actually, let's just go with counter spells, I guess. Because we want to keep the opponent off of certain kind of spells. Blues are splash, let's not use Dissipate. The Make Disappear is actually going to be kind of hard for us to make use of for consistency. No, forgot that one. That one rotated. Actually, some Disdainfuls don't seem like a bad idea. And we can also use some Essence Scatters. Do we really need the black in the deck? Life Pile actually gives us a way to win if we don't get Valet, so never mind, yeah, we kind of want the black. Oh wait, that's correct. I just remember we have like Void Rend we can use as removal. The uncounterable destroy anything. And let's see. Really. Take a look at it this way. This is kind of how I'm looking at the deck so far. This gives us some card draw. Gives us a 1-drop that's a defender. Potentially allows us to attack with our walls. This is one of our biggest defenders for toughness. Disdainful Vortex as blue control. Blight Pile. It's a 3/3 for 2. Allows us to activate to make our opponent lose X life, where X is the number of creatures with defender we control. Bankbuster for card draw. Borrow time controls any type of non-land permanent. Valet is the combo win condition. Obscure Charm, because this works as counterspell magic. Cheap destroy. And it also allows us to recur a mana cost 3 or less. So if we put a Valet early to the board, it gets destroyed. We can bring it back with the Obscura Charm at instant speed and set up the Valet to then go to a Chaplain. I think this is the best I can offer you, Izzy, for a Defender deck. When I have more uncommon crafts, we'll give this a try. I'll just save this for now. But we'll go ahead and continue our games with our Sultai control deck. I mean, I do think it's an interesting idea. It's just it's a matter of how well is it going to work. Let me do something real quick. I'm trying to double check where we're at in our games with this deck. Okay, so yeah, we've only played 2 games so far with it. We are 1-1. Alright. On the open, I think this one's a pretty keepable hand. We'll keep it. We'll lead with the tower. We can hit an untapped source. I don't even think we will play this. Alright, it's all tapped anyways. Go for blue-green. Sorry, my cord found its way under the chair, so I was moving real quick. Alright. Go with the Glade. Opponent's on potential counterspell magic. Gonna pass instead of playing Rutstein. We will go for the joint exploration with the kick and be able to just throw a land into play off the draw, so we get like a ramp like we're using Growth Spiral. We'll kick it. Now the opponent may just counterspell this because of the Growth Spiral nature of this. We're going to get a draw card and put a land on to the board potentially and get ramp ahead of them. So if they don't counterspell this with their pay 2 more mana, we could get old Rutstein and play around that counterspell still. There we go. We got the Make Disappear out of their hand. Go for Rutstein. Okay. Kind of okay with the land mill there. It looks like it's 5-color madness from our opponent. They already have black, red, green, and white, blue for the land types. So if they are using the domain spell Drag Down, it can be a -6/-6. We'll let that die. I was thinking about maybe using Colossal Sky Turtle to save it, but alright, we'll go for red and 7. Let's start fighting through these counterspell potentials from our opponent. Lead with the Tree Folk. Alright, they go for the Binding. Get rid of Ren. I didn't think Ren was long for the world anyways, but we actually have removal for the Bindings. But we managed to, 1 card, get 2 out of their hand. So, good value for us. Oh, it's a Zur deck. Okay. Fortunately, that means that that's going to hit us for a lot. Let's go... I think what we want to do here. If we do repossession, kick it, we can bring back Rutstein, get the land, play the land. As we're kind of fine with Rutstein dying. And I really want the one more land here. So that way when we go for Renin 7, we do the token. The token's large enough to fight the binding. Rafine, okay. So we're going to take a bit of a hit. Unfortunately, with Zur on the board, we can't target the binding. If we could hit our domain sweeper, we can actually kill off Zur and get rid of Rafine as well. No blocks. Alright. Trigger. March Red Sorrow kind of wanted, but that is perfectly fine. Let's see, so if we do this X4, if they have a counterspell, we're in trouble, but we're kind of in a position where we have to just go for it. They have the counterspell that we have to pay 2 more, they counterspell it and we lose. Well, we'll see if we actually get one more turn or not. Because there is always a possibility we top deck the domain spell, be able to play it, Sky Turtle away the binding. Odds of that, not high, but play to the outs. Because the land types we have on board does make it so it's a -5/-5, but let's see how big Rafine grows to here. I imagine our opponent doesn't discard... Yeah, I was going to say too many lands. But they actually discarded 3 lands, so... Honestly thought these were something else for a moment. Wedding announcements. What do we get off the top? Come on, domain. Nope. Well, that just means we can still go for another turn of blocking. There's our domain spell. Alright. I will stick around for one more attempt here. Because our domain now is... Our domain does go up to 6. Now, I'm fairly certain we're dead because the opponent attacks in, and they should have a non-land that they can discard to pump the extra damage. Alright, they're being safe. They're putting it on the wedding announcement since it's got hexproof. And with 4 draws, they should have at least one non-land card in their hand that they're going to discard for that. Yeah. Good game. We're not even going to attempt to block now. We'll just let them beat us in the face. Ah, that's a shame. Yeah, because if they didn't have that Rafine there to pump on those attacks, this would have been able to full sweep for us, but it's actually a pretty good deck. We just did not find this fast enough. We were just one turn too slow. Now, granted, they probably had counterspells for it. They probably like run a fair number of just be able to counterspell non-creature spells. It's that way they can protect their cards from like sweepers. All right, on the open, we at least have the counter magic, and we have the ability to present it early. Ren's kind of a dead card, but we'll keep it. Being on the play, holding up 2 make disappears feels pretty good, actually. Well, we got our sweeper also. We actually have 2 different sweepers. Alright, we just need to find our green mana. There's a ton of green sources in the deck because of the fact that we rely on these cards having double green. No, I'm not going to let that one resolve. Fable does not... No. Oh, no. Why? Why are we missing lands? I think I went to 25 lands with this deck, so... I'd have to double check. Do I care? Yes, I do, because I don't have a removal spell for it right now in hand. Alright, opponent's turn. Let's see. Yeah. Alright. Liliana's all day for our opponent. We'll give up a drag. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Permanently give up this meat hook. And we'll kill Lily. Now we can... If we get one more green mana, we can start getting these back with Shigeki. But we really want to go for Ren, go plus on Ren. And just dig into lands. Plus... discard Turtle. I was just that desperate for a land. Plus, I didn't want to use the minus since I'm planning on possibly sweeping it up next turn. Opponents actually got red, black, blue as their thing. I thought this was just maybe in there because it's a cycle land. If you're going to use a tap land, might as well go for the one that you can just discard draw. Alright, thank you, opponent, for going big on the board. Oh, no, no, no. We're 1 short for the meat hook. I'm gonna drag. Oh, the opponent's got a Voltage Surge, so I don't even get to use the Kaido. Darn, I was actually planning on using the minus after that. Oh, that's unfortunate. The underdog, not as much of an issue. Sweep them back off the board. It does mean that they can blitz underdog and get card draw now. But it's better to get them off the board so I can put Ren to the board without it getting guaranteed pressure by both of them. See, what do I have in the deck to deal with graveyards? Oh, right, Katose. So if we drop to Katose, we can get rid of all their underdogs. Thankfully, the Meat Hook takes some of the sting off of them blitzing. Let's go for the Ren. And we're going to go for the Tree Folk. The Tree Folk's going to more than likely bite a removal spell, unfortunately. But I really want to try to get an attempt to get Soren off the board because they look like they're trying to build up for this minus 13. Or just simply getting the just card draw advantage that they're getting. Kind of wondering what the blue in their deck is for. Alright, they duress us, they see Shigeki, so I'm glad I put Ren to the board. Alright, unfortunately Ren is going to bite it, like I thought. So we can discard Shigeki, get ourselves 2 cards back from our graveyard. So it'll probably have to be March and Drag. Put this on the board, pass. Let's see. 1, 2. Yeah, we can only do 2. So for every Shigeki deck I've done, I usually have enough mana that I can get back 3 cards by now. The lands has been a little fickle with us today. Alright, so they're just doing an X0, so that way the meat hooks balance each other out. Because every single time that they were blitzing, they were doing 3 damage to themselves. Alright, 1, 2. Add this, and I mean, we might as well take drag. The opponent's just been holding up all their mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can only march for 6. Can't even stop them from doing the Alright. We'll actually give up the drag. Get Soren off the board. Because otherwise they just minus, get themselves the vampires and steel cards from our deck. Alright, cut down. Not worried about losing that. Alright, we still have one more drag left in our graveyard. Unfortunately, that's our last copy. We have a nice health pool, but we'll see that actually chip away real quick with their board. Let's say if they're splashing blue just for this, they could just play that off the black-red, but we saw Corpse Praiser, we saw Kaido. So, this is basically the vampire deck, but it's just got underdogs and Kaido in it. So it's a typical Grixis build lately. We'll hold the Boseiju. We may just use it to destroy their meat hook. See, in our exile, Yeah, we have no creatures in graveyard at the moment. So if we hit that black card that lets us pick back a creature and a permanent, we have no target for it. Did they steal? A land? Good. Well, we'll just put Rutstein to the board. It's gonna die. Because they're gonna just fire off either the Voltage Surge right there, or they're gonna use one of their other removal options. I guess they'll just use our cut down against us. Alright, we get a treasure. I mean, it's good they pushed the land out of the way. Alright, what do they steal from us? They stole a cut down. Alright. A lot of damage coming in. Go ahead and get rid of the meat hook. This way, if we do hit a sweeper to try to stabilize, we actually gain life. We do let the opponent get a land, and they probably have a 4th Xander's Lounge, so they can add that to the board. Yep. In all honesty, if they had another basic, I'd try to grab the other basic, because if you draw the Xander's Lounge, you probably want to cycle it right now. Alright, we don't need to kick this, so we'll just play for the 2. Neither one of these help us. And we find more land. Alright. Fortunately, that land we couldn't find in the early part of the game. We just hit a giant string of it. Yeah, because when we started that hand, we unfortunately didn't have the green mana to take advantage of like an early Shigeki. And we were waiting on green mana for the second green mana for Ren for a while also. Alright. On the open, this seems like a pretty good hand. We got the ability to go for Rutstein pretty early. We have March to protect us. And we have the repossession, so... Seems like a good time here. We'll lead with the Proving Grounds. He is Xander to Lounge, so I guess we're against the Rakdos Vampire deck again. Let's see if we can get Shigeki to sit on board. If it doesn't, it doesn't. The type of removal that they'd have to use on it would more than likely tap them out, so they don't progress their board at least. But going with the attack first, see if they block situation. We'll obviously take the hit. And they cut it down. Alright, Rutstein to the board. Not exactly what I was hoping to mill, but we don't have the ability to play it anytime soon, so that works out. Alright. Well, we're gonna lose 2. But we are going to just... Yeah, we're just gonna exile that right away. Alright, upkeep. Put a pause. Because... Exile right away. Before we even draw so we don't lose the life. Proving ground to board. Opponent string. Alright, opponent gets a Fable. Let's see, how much can we do here? We can kick this. Land the board. Kick. Add this back. Add this back. Meat hook X2. I was tempted to get back the Ren, but keeping them off the board feels good, because they could have attacked with both, been able to at least punch the 3 in. And if they had like a 2 damage spell, they'd be able to finish off Rutstein. But also, keeping the token off the board means that we're hurting them on artifacts on board for Voltage Surge, and just ramp in general. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, land the board, pass it back. Our turn will use Shigeki discard to get back Terra Sunder and the Repossession. Use Terra Sunder, get rid of Reflections, and then buy back the Shigeki again. See, what does the opponent do here? Do they actually attack? Because we can offer a double block. This gets rid of Harvester. We're going to keep Rutstein still. We lose the 1-1. Oh no. And opponent scoops it up. They know that we're got a Shigeki loop going, and they just feel that they aren't going to be able to do anything now. All right. Ooh, I like this. Getting a one of these for free is pretty good. Because there's that deck that we did that's the Can't Stay Dead one. And I was thinking about actually adding this to the build idea. Now, I don't think it's as strong as the other card, but this one immediately brings 2 cards back, unlike the other one where you can only cast 1 a turn. So we'll have to try that one out. Alright, where are we at the gameplay on the stick? We're currently, what, 2 and 2? Two and 3. Oh no. Alright, we'll take a mulligan on this one. We'll keep this one. We'll put the Shigeki. No, I shouldn't put Shigeki on bottom. I'll put Rutstein on bottom. Alright, we'll lead with the black-blue source. We'll go then for the Boseiju. Go for Shigeki. Oh, actually, play the forest. Go for Shigeki. Ooh, we actually get to keep the Shigeki to board. I was thinking it's like it was going to hit some kind of removal there. We'll just pass it back. Alright, opponent's getting the Iganjo ramp going. They're eyeing the Shigeki now. It's too late to remove it. Alright, we activate. As a cost, it goes back to our hand. An opponent just flashes in the Emperor. I guess they're just playing around the counterspell. Bring out Ren off our ramp. -3. We could be actually in a bit of a bad spot with the Ren coming down like that, because it could use removal, get rid of this. Hello, Lily. Yep. There goes Ren. Alright, looks like we're going to save up land, pass. This way we can do Shigeki, discard X2, get back Sorrows and drag. Discard a joint exploration here. Ooh, we have Kotosi to actually answer that, but it's a good play for the opponent. I think how much we're representing on the sweep. Green, white, blue. So we actually have to have Rafine's Tower touch the board. So that way we can get the full domain. Grab both of these. I think, do I need a drag? Yeah, I do. Alright, we drag it. It'll be the opponent's turn. We can use Terra Sunder to get rid of Lily. But I think it'd be better for us to use March to get rid of Lily. Cast this first. Push both these to the bottom. Sky Turtle is actually pretty good. Discard here. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Leaves us 3 to play Sky Turtle. Get rid of the Lily. I'm just wondering if I have the ability to get back the Shigeki off the turtle here, or if I'm going to have to go for drag. Fortunately, opponents just got Lily Tribal there. Discard Kutose. Discard. Let's see, what's our life total going to be? We're going to take 4. Go to 10. They're going to represent 2, 4, 6, 10 damage on board. Let's see, if we grab Shigeki, we can do Shigeki and not get enough to play anything else. So I guess our best is drag. Fun's gonna plus with that Lily. We'll use Sky Turtle to bounce the Lily. So the first to discard. Oh wait, I can only discard bounce to discard creatures. Never mind. Thankfully, they used the token generation first. Then. But yeah, opponent just is Super Friends, and the Super Friends are being an issue. Yeah, we'll go ahead and give them the GGs. We don't have anything now. Hard to beat Super Friends if you just never get ahead of them. The fact that they went multiple copies of each walker was an issue. If we were a more aggressive deck that actually attacked, I think we would have been fine against that. But oh well. Alright. On the open. A little slow rolling, but we at least have draw value in Rutstein. Another underdog. We'll lead with the Kaido. Go minus. Fair, I was safe leading with Kaido because we can attack in, get the draw. If they do kill it, we're fine with just using it as a loot. Alright. You know what? Let's loot first, see what we get. We'll discard. Yeah, I don't think I need Rutstein now. At this point, right? Because we'll pass. Hold up Tear Asunder to get rid of this underdog and just be done with it for good. I just wanted to hold up the backup Kaido in case he had a destroy spell for it. Yep. Go for Ren. Big Tree Folk. Alright, Invoke Despair from our opponent. Another Kaido. Alright, I thought they might just save that for like our upkeep, stomp, burn Kaido. But this way we at least get a chance to draw. Let's go for the loot. We'll just discard one of these. Land. Pass it back to the opponent. Move Meat Hook equals no fun. Well, we have the Meat Hook in our deck, and we actually haven't really been killing our opponent's stuff, and the only thing they killed with Meat Hook is... Okay, so they're going to burn down the house. How are they going to treat their attacks, then? Let's go for an exploration. I should have done that first. Could have gotten the make disappear. Let's put these both on the bottom. Oh, fun. So many lands. Pass to the opponent. Alright, they go for a Fable. We let it resolve. We'll tear asunder the underdog, because I don't want to have to deal with that coming back. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, we've got 8 lands. That means that we can bring back up to 3 cards from our graveyard. Ooh, let's kick this. We get Old Rutstein back, and we'll grab Ren in 7. Let's go for the Ren in 7 right away. Because a big 8/8 token seems good. Hopefully our opponent doesn't get like another Invoke Despair to punish us. But then I guess a Soul Transfer does it just the same. Alright, what are they going to exile from our graveyard? Alright, they get our Recursion spell. That's a problem. Because now if we get Shigeki, we don't get the ability to loop that. Speak of the devil. Let's see. So opponent can swing for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's see here. I'm trying to think, what do we want to do? We go Rutstein and we mill a Sweeper. We can still get it back with Shigeki. We'll go for the Rutstein. All right. Because I feel like I have to not let it go tonight. And I already plan on using March on Reflections, but I guess we have a new target. Try to think, is there a way to deal with this? When it comes in, they exile something. Yeah, that's fine. This is going to block here. Why they have to bring down Sholdred right now of all times? The 4. I need to get a meat hook. Nope. That's the game there. Because, let's see, if I were to discard, what would I get back? So it cost me at least 4 to only get back 1 card. So we have 5 mana available to us. That's not enough to avoid a lethal strike from our opponent. But I guess we go 1. We grab the March. And we go March X4. Get rid of the Goblin Shaman. One, two, three. Plus, nah, yeah, we're still dead. We're still dead. Ah! Yeah, they had another burn down the house. So I think my primary issue is I didn't do the draw where I could have found the counterspell to their first burn down. Because we did actually see that I could have done that and found the counterspell. But I got 0 sweepers against the opponent. Like, we have 3 meat hooks, we have 2 of the domain sweeper, and I didn't have the ability to exile meat hooks, that way I could actually deal with the board anyways. Alright, we'll give this one more go. But hi Raz, hope you're doing well. See that you decided to join us today. Okay. I mean, we have combo cards in hand, so we'll keep this. We'll lead with this, so that way we can try this turn 2 Shigeki plan. Spirit Companion for our opponent. So this is probably a black-white Reanimator deck. Oh, they just pass. If that's the case, we'll go for the tower. Pass it back. We hold up the Shigeki for its ability. Shredder's fine. Activate. Fill our graveyard a little bit. Oh, 0 lands. That's no good. How did I hit a 0 lander? Well, let's attempt to put Shigeki back to the board. We have Make Disappear available to us, so we have a possible way to protect Shigeki. Alright. They do the grasp. Can't stop that. We'll just go for Rutstein. Well, there goes our sweeper. But we actually have a full domain available to it when we add it back to our hand eventually. Oh, we actually milled a Shigeki, so this is actually our last Shigeki here. Well, that's gonna die. So let's see, we go for March to kill the Apocalypse. Do it for 5, and that's going to cost us how much? It's going to cost us 6. That's the case. It's better for us just to use Urtai here. Oh, I was trying to put that back in my hand so that way I could put a stop and do it on their upkeep. But that's the way it worked. Well, we take another point of damage. Another Ledger Shredder for our opponent. So it looks like the opponent's on a draw lots of cards plan with their deck. We'll make disappear, and we'll sacrifice Urtai. Keep the opponent off this extra draw plan that they have. We lose a counter spell, but go X4. Get rid of a Shredder. Pass it back to the opponent. I just wanted to kill the Shredder in case the opponent had the ability to double spell and get more value for both their Shredders and punish us in the air. But at this point, we should be good. Ooh. I was going to say, we should be good to potentially do the Shigeki here, but I'm going to attempt this red. Alright. Just a straight-up negate. Pass it to the opponent. Well, I'm gonna kill the Lily. The discard repossession. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can do 5. Gonna be holding Takanuma in hand. Instead of bringing it to the board for our lands, just to play around them top decking another Lily. Okay, land for the turn. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Alright, so we can do Shigeki for 3. We can't add Meat Hook because it's legendary, but we can get the Sweeper. We can get Urborg, and we can grab Sky Turtle. Let's see, so Urborg, definitely. Rag. And Sky Turtle. Alright, we'll just lead off with the drag. Kick Repossession. We will add Shigeki. And we will add... I'm just going to add 2 Shigekis to hand. At this point, we should be able to get back more than enough cards without having too much of an issue. Okay, 1, 2, 3. We can do 4 cards with Shigeki. Alright, we'll grab, and grab. Yeah, guess what? We're back up to a full hand. Drag that to the bottom. Stop on our opponent's upkeep. And we will kill the Wandering Emperor. I made sure to do it at the opponent's upkeep in case they had another one in hand, so we couldn't just flash it in at our end step and be able to start getting the value off of getting more tokens to poke us. Alright, opponent goes X0 Meat Hook. Oh, that's rude. We have the ability to use Sky Turtle to get back a card right now. Let's go ahead and use this. And we will get back Urtai. Alright, play the Urtai first. Get rid of Ledger Shredder. Yep. Run in 7. Minus. And it'll be the opponent's turn. Alright, we'll just punch the damage. Alright, opponent just a march for 0. Plus, fills our graveyard. Land for turn. Pass it back. Go ahead and grab the 3 cards from our graveyard. And we'll kick the joint. Both stage you can go to the board. I don't feel like we need to use it to get rid of the meat hook. Go for another plus. We'll discard this. I know I'm going really low in card count in deck, but it allows us to put Shigeki in hand. Okay, so opponent's going to Wandering Imp. We'll cut down our Sultai so that way it goes to our graveyard. Tear this asunder. And opponent's turn. X1. Grab, tear asunder. I wanted to do X1 so that way I can get back both of these. Now we have a counterspell to protect our giant land token. Get our ninja. And pass. So we should be able to get lethal there, yeah. So opponent scoops up. Even if they would go for board wipe, we had Sultai to flash to the board, counterspell. And if they were relying on spot removal, we just still hold up the Sultai. Well, I was going to Shigeki. Let's see, I think I had enough mana to do it and hold up Sultai. Because I could have gone X1, grab a land. That would have grown this. I guess we might have missed with the joint exploration, but... in which case, we got there. It feels like Standard's a lot of this super reanimating type deck builds right now. It leads to some really crazy games. Thanks for the GGs. But we'll go ahead and discuss the deck for a wrap-up on it, and we'll move on to the next deck. Go for a more fast-paced, aggressive deck. And, well, it's not really that aggressive, but it's going to be faster than this one. So, this was the Sultai control deck list that we were running. Now, I do think we do run into some awkward situations with Shigeki, considering we run so many legendaries in the deck. But with Urborg Repossession, I think actually should go another one of these and down a Sky Turtle, just for the purpose of being able to get back some of these legendaries back to our hands. But the other thing is, there's just so much playing with the graveyard, and there's not a whole lot of just targeted opponent's graveyard hate, that I think what we need to do is maybe like trim out old Rutstein and go for them as the black werewolf that actually does hate on our opponent's graveyard. And I think that's really the main change I would just do to this. I like how a lot of the cards in general feel in the deck. It is a heavy control build, so the way you win is that you just kind of outgrind your opponent. And it does do a pretty good job of grinding. The March of Red Sorrows gives us back so much extra life. The Meat Hook Massacres kind of falls in the same category, gives us a nice sweep. Although I think what we should do is go down to 2 Meat Hooks and up to 3 Drag to the bottoms. because this just immediately gets you a larger minus minus than meat hooks. And there's some games that we just kind of need that. I do actually like how joint exploration kind of feels like a growth spiral. I won't say it's as good as growth spiral, but for the standard format, I think it's pretty good. But I had a lot of fun with this. I hope you all enjoyed it. We'll go ahead and wrap it up there for this one. Alright, so actually we have two different decks to move to. Chat, what would you like to see? Would you like to see a mono-blue tempo deck? Or would you like to see white-blue Reanimator? Because I think we'll only have time for maybe one more deck unless we try to rush the deck games. Let's see. Where's my controller for Sultai Forever? Oh, but peeps, we just played Sultai for about like an hour and a half. Actually, about 2 hours. Thanks for the breakdown off the stream now. Have fun, Raz. But I mean, if you want to watch more Sultai, I guess we could play more Sultai. I won't stop it. We'll do one more game of Sultai, and then we'll switch it up. So here's your Sultai bonus game. But thanks for speaking up there, peeps. I see it's your first time. Hope you're enjoying everything. Alright. On the open, this one's just not a keep. We're lacking green sources for these cards, and it's only a 2-lander. I think this one's keepable, but I don't think it's good. But how much more do we mull, right? I think we'll go with the keep, and we'll go down the exploration. Because we don't have the blue source for it right now anyways. Just need to draw some mana. That is not mana. Opponent's going to impulse. Okay, I wasn't expecting that, but unfortunately, we miss land. Oh, there we go. There's land. We'll put Rutstein to the board. I know that we're running into the fact that the opponent can just activate this and destroy it, but got to put something to the board. Is this exile or destroy? Okay, you exile the Silex to destroy. See, we can't pay life to activate abilities, but we don't do that, so that's fine. Oh no, we're just gonna mill all the cards. We can only activate that as a sorcery. No attacks. I'm worried about a Wandering Emperor. Alright, they Memory Deluge. Let's actually just tear this asunder. That way we're not under the constant threat of the board wipe. Because this destroys each thing with mana value X or less, and we're kind of relying on our treasures at the moment. Let's see what we draw. Sultai. Not what we were hoping for. Let's send Rutstein trying to bait the Emperor out. The Emperor does not come to play, so we will go for Kaido. Opponent, which counterspell would you like to use? Ah, there's Urtai scoring. Alright. So we've milled some land, so I'm going to attempt... Oh, no, I can't do that. It requires kicker of 2. So 3 mana total. Just milling all of our lands. Alright, let's attempt to do this. We'll kick. We'll add this back to hand. Will you let this resolve, opponent? I'm fine with that. You can kill him. I want my land. So rude. Alright, we still have another repossession in hand. We could attempt it one more time. I'll actually go for the land first. Still go for the Urtai. And we'll go for the blue source. I want to go for the land first, just that way we had the extra mana floating for countering, paying mana for the pay mana counter spells. How many counter spells are you running, opponent? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I play nothing, they just go for Deluge. So we'll attempt Katose here. Yeah, and they cover it up. Oh, this is just counterspell.deck. This is no fun at all. And we don't have any hand disruption for our opponent being... We're eventually going to hit lands. It's just going to be a giant flood all at once. Attempt Ren. I know you're already still sitting on enough mana to do another, like, Devious Cover-Up. And the problem with Devious Cover-Up is the exile. The best we can do is just put opponent in top deck mode where we can finally resolve a spell. Alright. Attack in. Gonna sacrifice draw. Go for Rutstein. Okay, opponent flashes in Wandering Emperor. I'm a little surprised by, like, the random flash of Wandering Emperor after he put the Silex to the board. Especially considering I went for a minus right away. Offer the block. Okay. One, two, three. Attempt to kill the token. Attempt to kill the Emperor. Get our blue source to the board finally. Our opponent's gonna Deluge. Well, we send it. Eventually they're going to pop the Silex. Yeah, we'll let it die. Cut down the token. We'll attempt to get this back. Because we're going to force the opponent to use more of their counter spells. Opponent, would you like to counter this spell here? Yes, you would. So that's technically Urkutai's scorn number 3 being cast against us, but they already shuffled them back in. What are they playing? Oh, they're playing Farewell? Oh no, Scrutiny. Let's put that back in your hand. You can't sacrifice it in instant speed, so... Not sitting under the pressure of a board wipe. We hit all the Meat Hook Massacres. Well, we've hit every single sweeper in our deck except for one more drag to the bottom. But this is just, unfortunately, it's going to be a very long and grindy game because it is counterspell.deck. And since they have all this draw value going for them, I don't think there's a way for us to do anything. Let's try this on X0, see if they'll just counterspell it. Ooh, they let it resolve. Now, I know that they can just blow it up with the card there. So they went for the plus this time, which means I think they're planning on blowing up our board. All they have to do is X2, get rid of our whole board. Yep, there goes. X2 on the Meat Hook. I'll be honest, their hand's just full of counter spells. They're just choosing what spells they want to actually bother and interact with. Let me target. Commit 0. Target here. I mean, we're just going to try for it. If this gets counterspelled as well, we'll just go ahead and scoop it up because we're just so far under a we can't play anymore that there's no reason to keep going. And since a lot of their counterspells are exiling, our whole be able to take things back from our graveyard, replay them plan isn't going to work, considering one of their counterspells also shuffles their counterspells back in their deck. They are just counterspell.deck. They are not fun to play against. Alright. But as I said, we're going to switch up the deck now. Go ahead and switch over to this mono blue tempo idea. Let me update the information on our stream here. There it is. So after mono blue tempo, we'll try to switch it up over to our white blue invoke deck. So for this mono blue tempo, we're going with the idea of trying to take advantage of the Academy Lore Master. If you're not familiar with this, it's a new card. Double blue, you get a 2/3 at the beginning of each player's draw step. That player may draw an additional card. If they do, the spells will cost an extra 2 more to cast. So to take advantage of this, we're playing cards like Fairy Vandal, where every single time we draw a second card in a turn, we get a +1/+1 counter on it. And we also run a whole bunch of very cheap interactions, mostly counterspell magic, Spell Pierce, Essence Capture, Make Disappear, to help protect our cards. This is also a very good deck idea for using Delver's Secrets, and we're going to give that a try. Our only non-instant sorcery spell is going to be Combat Research. So that way, whenever our creature deals combat damage to a player, we'll be able to draw a card. If it happens to be legendary, we'll get a +1/+1 and ward on it, but that's not the case for any of our creatures. And that's the general idea. So we take advantage of getting all the extra draw during our turn, and basically holding up all of our mana during our opponent's turn because we don't bother casting anything, for just all these counterspell magics to protect our creatures aggressing them. And just getting that carded value against them. Now, the opponent can take the extra card draw, but it's going to be harder for them to play their spells and deal with our creatures since they're, flying evasive monsters. So they either take the value of the draw, or they stick to their normal play patterns. And we're trying to see how many people we can trap taking the draw value. Alrighty. Let's give this a go. Now, I played a couple test games with this to see how well it would work, and I felt like it should do well for playing against people. Alright, off the start, we actually get to start with the Delver's Secrets and a Ledger Shredder. Ledger Shredder is actually one of those cards, when I was testing this, it's a little iffy, because we don't really double spell very often. I was planning on trying to put the Jin in the deck, but I just don't have any copies of it. Alright, we'll lead off with the Delver. Hopefully we can just get a quick transform on it. But that would just be asking for too much. Let's attack first. And go for a Ledger Shredder. If I was optimizing damage, I'd probably go for another Delver, but then I leave myself open to opponent just going X1 Meat Hook and punishing super hard. Alright, we'll go for another Delver. Attack. We have Make Disappear available to us. Black-red for our opponent. Okay. I can't let Sheoldred resolve. We're about getting draw value, and losing life for drawing cards, not exactly what we want to do. No blocks. Transform! Why can't you ever transform? Alright. Swing it in. We're going to hold up the Dissipate. Potentially Memory Deluge. I did want to put Lore Master to the board, but it's a bit late to the party. have to counterspell that because it just allows them to get rid of our cards easily. You gonna transform this time? Yay! Alright. Lore Master to board. And we'll also consider, so that we can get the Ledger Shredder trigger. Gonna actually discard the Deluge. Leave that on top. Land, pass. So if the opponent doesn't have any answers to our board state, we'll actually have Flying Lethal against them. Please, opponent, take the trap. Oh, they didn't fall for the trap. The extra 2 mana to tax them would probably have been enough to make sure that we didn't have to worry about getting in the attacks. Alright, opponent goes for Sorin. Unfortunately gives him a life linker. Alright, Spell Pierce is good. We'll take the action to draw. Land to the board. Take out Sorin. Nah. Send these to the face. Send these to take out Sorin. Gonna give up one of our aberrations here. Now, I don't think Spell Pierce is necessarily going to save us against most of the spot removal right now. Because they already have enough mana that they can easily play a 2-cost and still pay the tax. Oh, there we go. That's a GG's. Because we're already looking at, what is it, 3... Oh, and they even attack in, so yeah, that's definitely... No blocks. Alright, so yeah, drawing Odoar actually would have given us the lethal here. Because even if they held us back to block, we could have discarded this and been able to still punch in the lethal. I did give him a little early for the GGs, but because I did the math, we were short one, but we got it. All right. So you got an idea on how the deck is supposed to go? It's just a simple flying aggressive deck that just protects the flyers. Ooh, I like this. We'll keep this one. Now, I don't think this is going to be the most ideal hand, but let's see. That's a lot of Vandals. We'll pass it to the opponent. Plan on flashing in a Vandal during their turn. An announcement. Okay. We'll let the announcement actually resolve. Land. Lore Master. Now, I want to go for the Lore Master so I can try to get the 4th land. Because that way we can attack in, you know, with what we have. At least getting 2 damage from this Fairy Vandal. But we'll be able to hold up the mana for Counterspell Magic as well as a potential double flash of Fairy Vandals. What do you have, opponent? Nothing? Ah. Well, that's rude. Well, we put another one to the board. I have to admit, I wasn't thinking about the opponent going for a sweeper then. I thought there was some like interesting version of like white, blue, green enchantments. Because Selesnya enchantments is still a thing. Alright, Ascendancy is very powerful. And I feel bad that I wasn't able to get the counterspell off on that. Because, sadly, we didn't get the land until just now. Opponent's definitely got the advantage in this race. Because those are going to grow really quick. We need to find ourselves some of our bounce cards. Because, you know, they'll spin those into nothing. Kind of hoping to try to resolve a very expensive spell here. Because if they go for an expensive spell, we can go for the Make Disappear. Oh, they're not going to... Double Vandal. Take the action. Alright, Combat Research is pretty good. But since we already have Lore Master, I don't think we want to go for Research right now. Swing the team. Say hello to the Wandering Emperor. Say goodbye to the Wandering Emperor. Unfortunately, we do not have a counterspell to deal with any more sweepers or interaction right now. But the opponent takes the draw, so the extra 2 tax might keep them from wanting to play too much. Just have to hope that they don't have another depopulate. Alright, interesting. They stayed back with both their creatures. We'll decline this time. Go for the Combat Research. Attack with both. Dissipate. Yeah, that's fine. Delver to the board. Unfortunately, we're going down so that way we don't have any counter spells right now. Trying to hope to top deck or have a non-creature spell, non-land card on top for the purpose of flipping the Delver. That way we can reach the lethal. Block there, take the rest. Companion for the opponent. dance for the opponent. So, opponent had more life than us, so and didn't really do anything. Reveal, have lethal, good game. Oh, that was close, but we got there. Yeah, I think the opponent lost that because they forgot to attack one turn. And that was all the difference. All right. So that's an interesting white, blue, green token deck from our opponent. Because they were a Broker's Ascendancy token deck. And I do like that build of Wandering Emperor with Broker's Ascendancy. It's a really powerful combo. Alright, on the open. It has some really nice looking cards. We'll keep this. Right, we'll start with the Delver. Fortunately, the opponent had the play. Unfortunately, also, that was not a card to flip this Delver. Raffine for our opponent will flash in the Vandal. Why? There's only 2 of these in the whole deck. Alright. Bounce this. Yes, I'm sure. Oh, give me that salty your go. Thank you, opponent. Probably should have put this actually on the Delver, because it gives them a lot of incentive to kill the Vandal. Sad. Sad, sad, sad. Alright. Raffine, back to hand once more. Bottom the land. Bring out the Delver. We have Spell Pierce. Might be enough to protect our card. Might not. Do we get a flip? Again, another land. I have the saddest Delvers. Oh well. We'll Spell Pierce the Wandering Emperor. Hello, Emperor. You were completely seen and for... There we go. Opponent has scooped it up. They just assumed that we had more counterspell magic, and we were just tapped dry at that point. But hey, we get there with the deck. The saddest Delvers just won ones, but we still caused them to scoop. See, that was 4 turns of looking at the top of our deck and failing to flip the first Delver. I think. Was it 4 or 3? We played on turn 1, and they scooped on our turn 4, so... No, wait, no, it's turn 5. Yeah, we had 4 checks on that Delver. Alright, well, we got a turn 1 Delver. We got to try keeping it. Alright, blue-green for our opponent, so I think we have a safe play on this. Shouldn't be any removal, right? Alright, the Death Bonnet Sprout for our opponent. So they are a self-milling recursion deck. So, Sultai colors so far. Yes, you can have the Undead Butler. But I think I'll put this back in hand. I'll keep the Lore Master. Probably should have, because I was planning on using the draw spell, draw first, and then do the scry. Reveal. Attack in. Pass it back. So, the Hulk is going to be an issue. The opponent knows we're just sitting on counterspell magic, so they might not play anything. Still good idea for us to counterspell. Just gotta hope they don't have the removal for the Aberration, because I went for the counterspell. The reason why I want to counterspell that, because this here eats cards in graveyard. So at the beginning of your upkeep, exile card. If your creature was exiled, get a +1/+1 counter on it. Alright, they had a Lugorf, so it does add some extra value to the play. And each creature they eat outgrows the Hulk, but shrinks the Lugorf. We can use Fading Hope to reset the Hulk. But for now, we're going to hold up Make Disappear and Syncopate. Now, does the opponent go for the draw here? Except that things get more expensive. They do. Okay. So, makes it easier for us to counterspell something if they try to play spell. Because they try to, like, play a Lugorf. We'll take it. Our turn. Take that action. Attack for the 3 in the air. Now, I don't think the opponent's choosing to eat any of the creatures from their Hulk, just that way they can maintain the decent threat size on both their creatures. We'll go for the Fading Hope this time. Okay, I like the Vandal draw. No blocks. Consider, add it to hand, put it to the board. Attack with these. Oh, we're planning on blocking with the Lore Master this time. Just because Lugorf is going to hit us just for enough that we don't want to take it. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have to do X4 because they have 3 mana left over. And we can't let that hit the board and do its -2. Alright, they discard a Shell Crab. So yeah, we have to sacrifice here. Vandal's going to be our better sacrifice. We need a... Ooh, I was going to say, we need a bounce spell not to die right now. Discard, Make Disappear. Land to bottom. Lore Master to board, except that we don't have a counter spell. Opponent's turn. Representing lethal in the air, so they're going to be looking for some way to kill our creatures. Kick on that, that's fine. That doesn't help them really any. Discard Shredder. Thank you, opponent. Okay. Block. Not taking the risk on the one. Good game, opponent. We get there. We get there. I mean, we come up really close in each of these games with this deck, but we definitely get there. Alright, how's our rating with this going so far? Wow. Currently 4-0. That's pretty good, right? We don't have any of our flyers, but we have the Lore Master. We could try this out. I haven't tried keeping a Lore Master only hand, so this could be interesting. Black source for our opponent. Hello, opponent. We'll keep the land. Lore Master to board. Opponent's just going to cut it down. Make us feel sad. Yep, there it goes. Well, I guess we're going to have to rely on a lot of this counter magic here. They do a turn 2 underdog. It's going to be bad for us. And here it comes. Underdog. Yep. Mono black right now. They don't miss that underdog on turn 2. How's this worded? Let's see. Enchant creature has... Okay, so they would get the card draw. Sometimes they word these things in a way that if we enchant our opponent's creatures and it hits us, we'll be able to draw. But this one's actually worded that whoever's the creature owner will get the draw. Or I should say the controller, not owner. Alright, opponent, what are you going to do? Because you're definitely slow rolling this turn. Just dance. Just to pass the time. Alright, opponent, you're boring me. I'm getting bored over here. There we go. Finally plays a spell. Oh man, we unfortunately have hit 2 combat researches and our only creature we've drawn is dead. Alright, opponent. Next card, please. They will go for an underdog, it'd be nice, because I can just use Dissipate and I don't have to worry about it coming back from the graveyard. We hit 1 more mana for the Deluge, that's not bad either. Well, we go for Delver. We hold up the Disappear, but I don't think Disappear is going to help us because it could just be another cut down. We actually can counterspell that. Alright. Let's be a non-creature spell. Anything but Comet Research on top would work. Then again, a land could potentially work still. Alright. Land is the goal. Alright, we get the land. We can now use Memory Deluge. Yeah, Mono Black, unfortunately, is a hard deck to deal with right now because it does have cheap creatures. The control is definitely pretty high in their deck. I think it's our hardest matchup. Alright, Punch just going to level up the Sleeper. At this point, they can now start paying life and drawing cards. Let's go Deluge. Alright, we find a Vandal and a Ledger Shredder. I really want the Vandal here, but I think we're going to go for the Lore Master. I want the Lore Master so I can potentially use as a blocker here, but let's see what happens. This is unfortunately the slowest of rollers in an aggro deck. Come on, opponent. You gotta pass that priority eventually. Oh, we have to counterspell that. Because otherwise we just die. Speaking of just dying, we have to block here. And we're just dead. You know what? We'll just give them the GGs, and we're just going to scoop. Because I didn't want to wait for them to eventually play a spell and just think about it for an hour. And it's the one time that I decided to go, alright, they're going to take a while, I'm just going to scoop, is when they finally just play fast. It's kind of silly how that works sometimes. Alright. So, note to self, keeping the creature for drawing as our only creature against mono black. Don't run it out on turn 2 necessarily. Okay, this seems decent. We are missing the card draw effects for the Vandals, but we have early interactions, so we should be good with this one. Land, pass to the opponent. Do I go for it? Attempt the Vandal. Okay, good. They didn't have the removal. That's why I was like worried about this. I'm just running this into removal. One downside to this deck with using Memory Deluge, it doesn't trigger Vandal. But I guess that's enough. One Vandal to the board. Bud's going with the idea that they're probably holding lots of counterspells in. We were. Alright, how many games is that for the deck now? That one mono black deck played really slow, so it kind of threw off our pacing. Alright, out of 6 games, we've gone 5-1. That's actually a really good rate. Let's just do, let's just do a couple more. We'll do up to 3 more and see how, and after that we'll switch it up. On the open, yeah, this one seems keepable. Alright, opponent takes a mole and they're on the draw. Alright, against another blue player, let's put Shredder to the board. Alright, opponent's got black and blue. What other colors do you have, opponent? Well, we'll find out in a moment, probably. We'll go for the Vandal. Still have Spell Pierce available to us. Into a Counterspell War that triggers the Shredder. We'll put Fading Hope on the bottom. At this point, we'll attack in and pass. I don't put the Shredder on the board because I feel like we just want to hold up the mana for Counterspell Wars. Yep. No board wiping for you. Alright, and that's enough to send them packing. I was literally going to go Ledger Shredder, attack, and just hold up the Counterspell. But we didn't need to. Alright, we get a Delver hand with double Vandal. I like this. We'll keep it. Alright, we draw a Lore Master. Let's see if we get this Delver to transform. Nope. I tell you, I have some of the saddest Delvers ever. We'll go for Lore Master. Now, the thing is, we actually give them an ability to draw again. Although, I do think the game does it in a weird way. They're allowing you to draw first and then get the option to see if you want to keep it. Alright, there we go. We get the transform. We're going for the attack and pass it back. We have the ability to hold, make disappear here. Counter that Lily. Hold the consider. Alright, just because they might go for another Lily play, I'm playing this main phase. Well, that's unfortunate. I guess I really should have gone for the Ledger Shredder because it would have had a 4 toughness. Because it would have been a double spell draw still anyways. Alright, Shredder to the board. Opponent's turn. We're holding up the Essence Capture. Alright, opponent gets the kill. Fable. Essence doesn't work on Fable, and it still produces creatures. Alright, land, consider... Land the graveyard. Research. Why am I drawing so many lands? I mean, I guess we went through a number of non-lands, but it's like, not more land. We have Essence Capture, so we can counterspell the creature if they went for it. But again, they find a way to get creatures without playing creatures. We'll capture that. Thank you, opponent, for playing that. Alright, lay on the board. Attack the face. I'm going to have to ignore the Sorin. Alright, double make disappear means that we potentially can still counterspell anything that they play. Nice. That's unfortunately the game for us. We'll see what we draw, though. Well, let's see what we continue to draw. Nothing. Alright, yep. Give him the GG's. Yeah, so opponent got a whole lot of land so they could keep paying for our taxing. And the amount of removal that they managed to get was rather high. Lightning Strike, Lily, Meat Hook, and Infernal Grasp. Now, I could have played around the Meat Hook, and I made a mistake. And that was purely I had the opportunity to go for Ledger Shredder over Vandal, and would have ended out with a 2-4 instead of a 2-3. And that would have worked out a lot better for us. Okay, last game for the deck. I guess actually I should do 2 more. Go for an even 10. Alright, this one does nothing, so we're going to hit Mulligan. Alright, we keep this one. Now, which card do we send down? I think we send the Consider. And we get another Consider. Alright, Delver to the board. Would have been great if, like, we'd drawn a land and then Consider was the one on top. But I guess it wouldn't matter. Let's go for Shredder. Oh, okay. Really? You may cast an instant of 1 or 2 from your... Oh, hand. Okay, so when they go for the card from the graveyard, they still have to pay the mana cost on that. Let's Consider first. Try to dig for land. Oh, there's the land. And go for Delver. Get a trigger. Discard this land, though. Because I plan on using Fading Hope to protect our Shredder from this. This allows us to set up the top of the deck. And I'm trying to find a spell to flip Delver. Love it. Absolutely hate it, but... Attacking. My opponent's got another Founding of the Third Path. When they last milled themselves, they milled 4 lands, which is unfortunate for them. Oh, okay. Let's discard Lore Master. Put this to the board. Reveal. Put the research here and attack in. Just gotta eat one of these right now. Alright. Probably should have just waited on our opponent's turn and just ate them both then. Because I could have just double drawn for the purpose of the Vandal. Well, we'll attack in. Get the grow. Blood like crazy. Opponent goes for the removal again, and we will counterspell it again. They got such bad luck that they milled so many of their own lands. But then again, we're getting our own bad luck of just flooding here. They go land board wipe. I didn't have any answers. But we get there. That's actually one of those issues with self-milling decks. They seem cool because okay, looks like